This is an Ikea Markus office chair. They're really comfortable, but the wool, because that's what according to this is made out of, the seat fabric is 100% wool. It is prone to staining. I thought to document this, I'm going to use RIT's standard dye because it is wool, so I'm not using their newer synthetic dye. Hoping the royal blue is a close match. Didn't think to do this until after I'd already taken the chair apart, because where I live, according to the RIT Dye website, they suggest you can actually use a paintbrush and paint it on the upholstery and then use a garden hose, you know, like in your front or back lawn, and rinse the chair off. I live in a high-rise, so that's not an option for me, so I'm actually going to use the bathtub and hope it doesn't permanently stay in the bathtub, and if it does, I can deal with that, so I'm not too worried about that. Again, I already took the chair apart to make it easier to dye it in the tub. And this chair was kind of dirty. I actually got it from a friend, so it was used to begin with. And he had actually eaten curry of all things and gotten some curry, which I'm sure with turmeric and all the other spices in curry, stains really bad. Not that it needed any help getting stained, and I probably got some stains from whatever on it as well. So that was probably the biggest drawback to this chair. Luckily no cat puke, but the cat did use the back as a scratching post quite regularly, but it's only just some minor pilling, and there are some stains on the headrest too, so I'm going to do both upper and lower parts. But surprisingly, it's held up really well. It's really comfortable. The one thing I would recommend when you're taking the hardware off, there are different length screws for each part. I just screw them back into the hardware where I can, or keep them separate. Of course, I put these together a lot, so I kind of already know what goes where. And according to the RIT Dye site, they suggest using a paintbrush. So I got a paintbrush. The key is really, really, really hot water, and they're saying a half a bottle to 2 gallons. Or actually, they said a bottle to 4 gallons, but I'm not going to use that much. Don't think it's going to need it because there's really not that much fabric to do. Just the top of the seat and the outside of the upper part. And what they tell you to do, obviously wear gloves unless you want to have Smurf hands. I'm just going to have temporary Smurf hands and wear some blue gloves, nitrile gloves. Once you paint it on, then you're going to rinse it till the water runs clear. Then you have to let it dry, and then after that I'm going to do the color set because you're going to be sitting on this and you don't want it coming off on your clothes. I'm not going to use the branded color set. I'm going to make my own that I found on the website, which is just basically cold water and a 4-to-1 ratio of vinegar and salt. They suggest letting it sit about an hour or more and then rinse it out. That was mainly for a pair of blue jeans, but fabric's fabric, and that's what I'm going to do to the chair. So let's get started. Well, I'm going to boil the water on the stove, and I'm just going to use 4 16-ounce bottles, which is a half a gallon, because honestly I really don't think you need very much. I was just kind of wasting it, so I will still stick with the ratio it recommends. So I'm going to just use 2 ounces or a quarter of this. And I'm using bottled water because the water in my building is really hard and I'd rather just have it as pure as possible. And I'm also going to just use a bottle of water in a spray bottle and mix the appropriate ratio of, you know, clean water to the vinegar and salt, and just spray that on and let it sit because I don't really want to get the chair so wet beyond the first stage and have to wait for it so long to dry again for a second time. Alright, so the color set, it was saying a gallon of cold water to a cup of vinegar to a quarter cup of salt. I'm going to just use it in a spray bottle, have it ready to go in a day or two. So 12 ounces of water to about 1.5 tablespoons of vinegar and a little over a teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm mixing it up in a, or putting it in a pot first because it'll be easier to transfer it to the bottle that way with the lid. So that's about 1.2 teaspoons of the salt. And just use your regular white vinegar. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a while, let the salt start to dissolve before I go ahead and transfer it to the bottle. And now we're going to get the water boiling for our dye. Another disclaimer for the dads out there. Don't wear your good clothes. Don't wear your designer jeans when you do this, unless you're wanting to make them a mess, so maybe just don't wear any pants at all. Okay, I got my Smurf gloves on. It says to shake this really good before you add it to the dye, since I'm not using the whole bottle. I think that's prudent. I measured this out, and this would be 2 ounces. I noticed on the back of the bottle itself it actually recommends putting the vinegar in for wool at this point under the preparation, but I'm going to go ahead and do it the other way that I read, because it didn't mention if that's upholstery or just fabrics that you're going to do something else with. This is getting pretty much close to boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and add the dye. Rinse that glass out so it doesn't stain it. And I can already see in the kitchen sink that the dye is going to stain a little bit, but probably a magic eraser will fix that. So just strain it a little bit. Shut the stove off. And we're going to move to the bathroom. Okay, in case anybody cares, the temperature I got it up to, it is actually at 185, 190 degrees. But if you ask me, it doesn't really look like it's really deep as far as the dye intensity. This is the back part of the chair. You're not going to see this as much. Even through the gloves, I can feel the water is a little hot. Hopefully I'm not blocking the lens. I guess we'll find out later. I want to make sure I got it on here really good, because I can already see there's 2 spots here that aren't taking. And because now it's all wet, it's really hard to tell what this is going to look like once we're all done. But even if it looks solid, except for a few spots like this, I'm going to be happy. I think I got that pretty good. Now for the top part. This should be pretty basic. Hit that worst spot first. Whoops. I can see why, if you can, do this outside. I can see that's really not doing too good. I might go grab the dye and make it stronger and just hit those bad spots. More fabric than I realized. Okay, so as I feared, I was blocking my working most of the time. I was blocking the camera. I'll probably do another video using a magic eraser showing how you can remove RIT dye from your tub. So now that I've done the chair, it's time to rinse it off. You can actually still see the dye, the water is still steaming, so it's probably still pretty hot. But they won't even say just paint it on. They don't say do a second coat or anything like that. Again, this is dye, not paint. So now I am going to rinse it until it runs clean. Basically, I just rinse this off in the tub. The tub is nice and stained. We're going to have to deal with that later. You can tell that it's been stained because the label underneath got dye on it. But it really didn't take much to, yeah, it's still running. It's not like a lot of dye's coming out, just a little bit. I don't know if you can see down there. What you're seeing is actually where it stained the tub. Yeah, that really didn't take much. It's basically running clear. Yep. So now we gotta let that dry. Just to show you, to get the RIT dye off my bathtub, I'm using a combination of the Shackley Get Clean Scour Off paste and magic erasers. It doesn't come off as easily as I'd like, especially on the textured part. Okay, we're going to try the hardest spot with this combination of Shackley Scour Off and a magic eraser. Okay, so to get the RIT dye, I just use these cheap Chinese magic erasers. Get them like a couple bucks for like 50 of them. Probably use about 8 of them. Just this with water for the grout and tile, and then for the tub, I used a combination of that and the Shackley Get Clean Scour Off paste. All except for this really bad spot here, which I think came from hot when I had it in the tub. Everything came out pretty good. These are still dripping a little bit, so I'm going to have to go over it again when I'm done. But a little bit of slight discoloration, but I know this tub has been refinished. And the paint, or whatever, is already coming off over there, and it's sort of like a bluish green, hideous color. Anyway, so if your tub is really nice, I probably wouldn't risk doing it. But if it's an old crappy tub like this one, you know, third bathroom or whatever, it's all right. Or if you have a wash basin, that'd be even better. And of course, if you could do it outside, that would be best. Okay, I wanted to do an update. The fabric, I think the foam underneath is still drying, so this is not the final look. But this is the head rest, and that bad stain there is still noticeable. And then there's one over there too. I think that was also there. I should have paid more attention to where the stains were. And along the edges there. And then the worst part, of course, was the seat. Here's the seat. You can see like a water line along there. That I think is coming off because there was another one along here that I used the blow dryer on to superficially dry, and that disappeared. That little spot there took some dye. The one down there didn't take any. I can almost think I see brush strokes along there. Still not very even, but I think it's actually still wet underneath the foam, so I'm going to give it another day to dry before I make my final opinion. But as of right now, I would say the RIT dye job was a failure. Right, Toby? He's like, yeah, I'm not impressed. Here we have the Markus Ikea office chair. After following the directions on the RIT dye site, and overall I have to say I'm not overly impressed. I don't know if you can see this when I turn on a brighter light. Might actually wash it out, but we'll see. So the stain that was here, turn it around a little bit. This is still here, as well as this one. And the fading on the edges of the chair is still here on the blue. Right along there. And the seat, which was really bad, you can see like this water line. Little spots that never took at all. Well, that one took a little bit. And you can almost like see the brush strokes and irregularities here. So, plan B. Since this chair is basically blue, I have a blue permanent marker. I already did a chest area on the bottom back of the back. Let's see, where is it? Right here. And it is darker than the actual chair, original color. But I'm going to actually just take my time, maybe watch TV or something while I do it, and literally just dot, you know, press the ink into every spot. I'm going to do the entire back of the chair first, see how it looks. And I'm probably going to do the seat as well. And then after that, I think I'll probably Scotchguard it and skip the original dye set vinegar salt solution spray that I made up. Although I might use that too, I don't know. Okay, so the permanent marker I was using was a Jot brand. And that comes from, I think, the Dollar Tree. So I went back to the Dollar Tree because I tried a Sharpie blue, and that wasn't the same shade of blue, of course. So they had a big ass one for $1. So I thought maybe it'd have more ink. However, it didn't seem to be quite the same shade, and the coverage, if you can see, there's some discoloration there. And actually, I think this was all even done with the same marker here. Might have to go over it again, but just doing the back side of the chair, that's all I've had done. Took almost an hour. So you probably figure another hour on the other side, and then probably at least an hour or two on that. So you're talking maybe 4 hours the way I've been doing this. And I was blotting it at first, but then okay, so I got tired of just dotting it, so I've been streaking it. And you can see some shading variations in doing that. But if you just do it the dotting way, it'll take forever. If you want to spend the time, go for it. Just to show the technique here. This isn't the technique I would recommend, but I would do it more like this. That takes too long. Now on the headrest, I'm doing it like this. I think maybe because of the padding, it's easier to do it like that, and I think it'll be more uniform. You won't have the streaking like you kind of do down here. Almost has a denim look though, so hopefully it's not going to look bad, right? Okay, on the seat, I'm going to do the little circle technique again. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. Just like that. This actually goes pretty fast than the dotting, little circles. Okay, this section took about 30 minutes, so I don't think it is any faster, but it is more even. Alright, update. I had to buy a few more markers, and my original plan of gridding it out ended up making it look like a distinctive square there. It didn't look right. So I did more stippling and just bigger circles to give it more like a pattern look. Had to buy a few more markers, would never do that again, would actually just go to Hobby Lobby or something, get a fabric dye thing to run through an airbrush and just spray it on. This was a really stupid, long, tedious process to do it this way. And because permanent markers aren't necessarily actually permanent, had to make up another batch because I'm at another house. Made a batch of the vinegar salt spray, letting that do its thing to set the dye. And then I'm Scotchguarding it. Doing 2 light coats of Scotchguard. And then we'll put the chair together. Hopefully it'll look good. Okay, so the vinegar salt solution didn't really set the color, although it is more blended, but when I wet it and wipe it down, ink keeps coming off. This is only from the permanent marker because when I tested the sides, the original RIT dye is not coming out. Used this a few times, got up a lot of the color, Scotchguarded it, still coming through. So this was not a good idea. Probably just going to recover the seat cushion with some other fabric. Alright, for those of you who actually stuck through this long, tedious, boring video, the takeaway is the RIT dye did not perform as expected, and never dye a chair using permanent markers because they are not permanent and it'll probably end up coming off on your skin and clothes no matter how much you try and clean it off.